Some more. I don't know how it works with the rights to everything.
Right.
Right? Get the little Arrested Development. Hey, it's your girl Rajette Speaks with Narrative Shift. Super excited to be here tonight. I am here with Calvin Sibert, the game changer of education. He is out here doing it big, guys. What's super exciting about tonight, we are cut from the same cloth. We come from Romulus, like we are from the same city. And I am always thrilled when I get people on the show who came from where we came from, and we're out here doing these big things, right? It's just inspiring to have you on the show, Calvin. Really excited about what you're bringing to the table tonight. So please, first of all, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes, please just go for it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So as you said, I'm from Romulus. Romulus is outside of Detroit. A lot of people like to say Romulus is this little small place where
Right.
it's not a Detroit. It's not.
Right.
But I grew up there. My parents were really focused on keeping me in private schools and Catholic schools. So I went to Catholic schools. And I remember the teachers making sure that my penmanship was just on point, like to the point where like they used to pull my ear to make sure I was writing right, correctly. And just I remember telling my mom one time, like, this teacher is pulling my ear and being mean to me about my handwriting. And she said, well, you better start writing right. Like there was no like hopping on my side, like like kind of how it is nowadays, like the parents sometimes hop on the kids' side. But as I said, I went to a lot of Catholic schools, but my 7th and 8th grade year, I actually finally made it to my city's junior high, Romulus Junior High. And that was a real special time for me because I finally was in school with my friends in my neighborhood. And I do have to share that, going to some of those Catholic schools and being the only Black kid in the class, it took me down some roads that I wasn't, I didn't feel good about it. I didn't like the name call, calling me names. Of course, we know what those names are. I didn't like the kids saying my hair looked like a Brillo pad and stuff like that. But the good thing about that is I ended up kind of, having my mother sit me down and talk to me about how the importance of, treating people the way you want to be treated. And so that really stood out for me because even though they treated me a certain way, I still wanted to be their friends. Like the one kid in the class, like I was the black sheep, literally, like in the class. And I was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
I still want to be y'all friends. Now, come on, I can make y'all laugh. I can't really dance that good, so it ain't no chucking the jive dances or nothing. But but I can make you laugh, and I'm cool. So that was tough for me. So, but I got through it. And then my like I said, I started the junior high, Romulus Junior High, and then I started changing. And I put it on the music because, well, actually, I'm going to put it on two things.
Okay.
I'm going to put it on the music. I started listening to NWA.
Yeah, that was all of it.
It's in the name.
Yeah, yeah.
So that started to change my attitude. And then on top of that, my parents got divorced right around the same time. So the fact that my father moved out, he moved to Inkster. And, I thought I became the man of the house, literally, like at 13. I was like, you know what? This is how I'm going to do it. This is it. Like, and the music was telling me to be tough and to be mean and to sag your pants and
exactly.
and to wear big clothes that nobody really knows what your size is. So I fell into all of that, and in the process of that, I became mean to my mom. It was almost like I was blaming her for everything, and then when she would try to create this structure in me, it was total pushback. Like, no,
Mm.
no, like you don't even like. It was almost like I was judging her, being like, you didn't stay married to my dad, so how can you tell me what to do?
Wow.
And so that created like some tough skin in me, and I started hanging around different people from Romulus that weren't the ones in my neighborhood, and then it started to pull me into a tough space. It pulled me into a space where I was doing things that I know I shouldn't have been doing, especially at that age.
Sure.
And then that was when my mom pulled the plug, and she's like, you know what? You are going back to private school.
Okay.
I was like, oh man, I just knew I was going to Romulus High School.
Right.
And she put me in Aquinas High School.
Okay. Yep.
And I remember one of my buddies, Naeem, he came right with me. Yeah,
I forgot about him.
Naeem was a guy that really taught me a lot about the tough skin and how you can't always you can't always be kind to everything. If that's a better way of saying it. Yeah, you gotta, because you get taken advantage of if you do. So I learned that from him. And then in the process of trying to figure out who I was, it kind of caused me to be the black sheep again at Aquinas. It was like, I was like, you know what? Me and Naeem, we hanging together. So whatever he does, I'm going to do the same thing pretty much. And so that was pulling me into like a space of like, just kind of being mean to kids, like knocking people's books down and just cracking jokes and the mama jokes and just all of those jokes. I was a part of all of that, and but I knew deep down in my heart it wasn't really me.
Right. Exactly.
I knew I was just doing that to like fit in. And at that age, freshman in high school, like you're really trying to figure out who you are. And it's not like you figure it out as a freshman in high school.
True.
So it takes time. And so that my high school experience was it was deep because to have teachers that I don't really remember any of their names. I don't. One thing that I do have to go here on this one.
Yeah, sure.
One thing that stands out at Aquinas was a day when we had this assembly, and I was a freshman at the time, and I remember the cheerleading team. They came out during this assembly with black faces on.
Oh, what?
And afros. And they performed the Michael Jackson song.
Calvin, are you kidding? I didn't know this. This was 90. So this would have been 90 what? This would have been.
It was 1990.
Man.
I graduated in 94. This was 1990. And
wow.
I remember how we all looked at each other because we always sat by each other. In the lunchroom, we had a black table where we all sat.
Yep.
And in the assemblies, we all sat together. And I remember one of my friends, I'm not going to say her name, but I remember we looked at each other and we was like, do y'all see this? And then the next thing I know, when the assembly was out, this young lady, she on our team, pretty much, she ran up to one of the girls and punched her in the face.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, it's about to go down.
Right.
And then it was like this riot at Aquinas. The riot was so bad that they closed the school down for, I feel like it was a Wednesday, and they shut it down till Monday to calm it all down. It was, it was in the newspaper. Gosh. We were really hurt by that. We knew it was wrong, but the young ladies, they said that they didn't realize it was wrong. And I got a friend that he didn't even know. They asked, could they have some black makeup? And for some reason, one of my buddies, he had it, he gave it to them and didn't even realize. We talked about it a year ago.
Wow.
I didn't even realize when I gave them that black makeup that they were going to put it all on their face.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's exactly what happened. And we were torn by it. The school was just at an uproar. Our parents got involved. We ended up having this meeting, and the school was just never the same after that. Of course we had to adjust.
Of course, yeah.
That and they apologized, but it didn't really fix it because it happened, and the adults in the school, the teachers and the administrators, they didn't really know what to do.
Sure.
And so that was probably one of the toughest things that I went through in high school, because I was so young and I had experienced racism in different spaces, but not like that.
Wow. Yeah.
And that really was like a game changer for all of us. And we started to stick together, and instead of like attacking and being mean and fighting, it was like we pretty much said, we're gonna do good in school. That's what I remember. Like, we're gonna get these good grades, we're gonna listen to these teachers and do what we need to do.
Let me ask you this. That's wild. I had no idea about that. I mean, 1990, I guess I was a 6th grader, I think, in 97, maybe 7. Wait, no, is that right? You were a freshman?
Yeah, I was a freshman.
So I was in 8th grade then.
Yeah, you was in 8th grade then. Yep.
Yeah, and so I mean, obviously, we always heard about Aquinas, right? And everybody always kind of had, friends that went to Aquinas as well. All I remember is that there was some drama at Aquinas, but I didn't know to what degree. So I'm assuming this was it.
And I remember, they closed down in like 90, maybe 95 or 96, like. Because I went around the time my senior year, I came back to Rogers High, but they couldn't stay open because it was like it was never repaired.
I did not realize that. I didn't even know it had closed down like that. I had no idea.
Yep, because I wanted to go. I'm like, where's our reunion?
Right.
You gotta go back to Romulus for a reunion.
Right. That's wild. So let me ask you, I have a couple questions just quickly, about Aquinas specifically. Were most of your teachers white, or did you have a diverse teaching staff?
Oh, every teacher was white in that school. Okay. Yeah, there wasn't a black teacher at that school. Nope. I remember one time I came to school, I got my hair cut. Shout out to Johnny Chambers. He's my barber back in the day.
Okay, yeah.
Of the $5 barber.
Okay.
Good for $5.
Nice.
And I asked him to put Menace to Society in my head, like, because he could put words in
it.
Like
to carve it in? Like to
he's so good at cutting hair.
Okay.
But so I said, because at the time, that was when that movie came out.
Yeah, right.
I like this, man. It's, it had a deep story behind it. Of course,
absolutely.
I wasn't trying to be like, I want to be this gangster thug. Man, I didn't want to be old dog in the movie, of course. And I sure didn't want to be Kane. So I was like, I want to pump it up. Like, I want to put this in my hair. If you can do that. And he did. And I remember when I got to school, the principal said, you can't even go to class with that. And I was like, what do you mean?
Wow.
And he said, sit in this office, and better yet, if you don't get it, if you don't take it out of your hair. And I'm like, how am I going to get it taken out of my hair now? But somebody, I don't even remember who it was. Somebody actually had clippers at the school that day, and they just cut it out for me, because that was the only way I was be able to go.
Really?
They had to cut it out, and it was like one of those moments where, like, yeah, this is wrong. But I guess in a Catholic school, when I think back at it, like, we're in a different space now, but back then you could put a line in your hair or something, but that was extreme back then.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember, we couldn't even wear at Romulus in middle school. I remember when the Simpsons came out, we couldn't wear the shirts. We could not wear Bart Simpson on our shirts.
What?
And if we had it, we had to flip it inside out. Because, he always was saying stuff like the shirts were like, eat my shorts and like these kinds of things. It was very conservative in that way. And so we were not allowed. Like, we actually would have to go home or change our shirt inside.
Look, I remember my dad used to say, I couldn't say holy cow. He
yeah.
hated that. Like, you don't say that. And no, you don't say that.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I've never said it since that day.
That's wild. So let me ask you this in terms of this diversity aspect, right? So you didn't have any Black teachers or any other teachers, right, at Aquinas. But then you got to Romulus. And even before you left, like we had a decent amount of Black teachers and administrators and ADs and this kind of thing. How was that for you? Like just that cultural shift there? I'm just curious to know.
It was cool to me because my mother really did a good job at connecting me with the important Black people. So my mother had a TV show called the Gwen Sibert Healthy Cook Show.
Okay, come on, Gwen.
Yeah, it was a half-hour talk show, and then it was a half hour of healthy cooking because we were vegetarians.
Wow.
So she let my sister and I be on the show, and we would, sometimes bring our friends from school on the show too. So some of the people that I met at 8 years old, Rosa Parks.
Wow.
Winnie Mandela.
Calvin.
Ben Carson.
Okay.
Sammy Davis Jr. Sinbad. I mean, she put me in this space to just meet all of these people, and they all would drop seeds in me. They would say all this stuff and all these positive things to build me. So
it's amazing.
That was actually the cheat code, since I was going to all these schools and I wasn't seeing that and I wasn't getting that.
Okay.
That's how
wild.
I feel I was able to make it. Meeting all these important people in our history, and it's like, wow.
That's beautiful, Calvin. Listen, so what network was this show on? I'm going to ask.
Channel 62, the first Black station in.
Man, if you don't get out of here, how did I not know this?
Look, I used to stay there and watch the scene.
Yes.
All of that, because we were behind the scenes.
That's amazing.
Stay there and watch all that. And a lot of people used to think we were rich,
right?
Because we were on TV. But no, that was the first Black
network. Yeah.
And it wasn't a paid one like that. That was like, get your feet wet. Let's see if you can. Because I remember my mom, her goal was to be the next Oprah Winfrey. So that was like her start.
Yes.
And so
that's amazing. I had no idea about this.
And then look, check this out. The last school I taught at, I'm actually wearing their blazer right now.
Who you got?
Academy of Arts and Sciences.
Okay. Yep.
Right across the street.
That's crazy.
I was like, this was my first job on Channel 62. And then this was my last teaching job right across the street.
That is amazing. I love this. It's crazy how things, as the world turns, right? Like as things come.
I know.
I love it. Oh my goodness. All right. So okay. How did you go from being this child to, you're sort of between schools, what's the word? Let me see here. You're between schools. You're having some difficulty sort of navigating some of the cultural things that are happening between both schools, right?
Yeah, I was jamming myself up with the code switching all the time.
Okay.
I was coming back to Romulus to talk about, man, this is rad, dude. They was looking at me like, bro, what you mean rad, dude? Oh, that's how I'm supposed to talk in school. And I remember my dad said, when you're at school, talk like that at school. But when you go back to your neighborhood, you can talk how your friends in your neighborhood talk.
Oh, and good. Okay.
That moment, that was teaching me how to code switch is a real term now.
Yeah. I mean, but for then, I believe that was a solid lesson, right? Because you have to navigate those waters in a really unique way. What was interesting about Romulus, and guys, viewing audience, there's several of you out here because I can see y'all. We are going to get into the math, I promise, and math hoops and everything. But one thing that was really unique growing up for me when I was a child, K through 6, listen, we had one middle school, we had one high school, but we had like 6 elementary schools, and then there was Aquinas. And so what was really interesting was, depending on where you lived, wherever the zone was for you to go to school, that's where you went to school. So K through 6, I was at a predominantly white school where I was just looking. I don't know if you remember Charlie Newhart, he goes by, he's a comedian now. if you saw him, you might recognize him. But I would look for him, Shannon Warren. I would look for them every year. Like, are they in my class this year? Because it was always only me or just one or two of us, right? And so while we had it was a decent enough, Black population as far as teachers. I even had an Asian teacher, I think like in the second grade. For that going down like that, the school that I went to was predominantly white. And so when it came down to us going to middle school, man, I remember getting to middle school, meeting everybody from the north side, everybody from the sub, everybody from Oak Brook, the Meadows, the McDonald's, right? I was like, where did all these Black folks come from, right? So while my neighborhood, because I grew up in the Valley, while my neighborhood was predominantly Black and all my squad was Black, and I had my Blackness, I got to middle school and I was like, where did y'all come from? But because I had been raised or, schooled K through 6 in that environment, when it came down to how I articulated or how I said certain things, I was met with a lot of challenges trying to navigate. Oh, you talk so white, these kinds of things, right? And so I'm sure you heard that, right? And so trying to just, try to establish friendships in middle school was kind of different because that north side, like all the cats from the north side were like, why you hang with them? Because I've known them since kindergarten. I don't know they my friends. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it was really hard. So I'm just thinking of what it had to be like for you, kind of going, you're living in this one environment and then boom, now you're over here and having to go back and forth. Everybody kind of knows each other. And then you bring the Inkster dynamic like that. I can't even imagine what that had to look like.
I just always felt different.
Yeah.
My mother being this humanitarian, like, I don't think I even shared this with anybody, but when I was in the 5th grade, my mother, we took in like 5 Haitians and they lived in our basement.
Get out of here.
Yes, we did. And I remember like trying to communicate with them and just, they were really nice. And, but I remember just thinking like, my mom is insane.
Yeah, that's dope.
What is she doing? Like we started a nonprofit organization when we were young called We Care About Others.
What?
And we would go around to the sub and all these different neighborhoods and give away toys and stuff for Christmas. Like, so she really poured into me.
Yeah.
To care about people, to give back. Don't even worry about all this black-white stuff. It don't matter. God loves us all. Don't get caught up in all of that. So I just always felt like I was different and that I knew I could get along with anybody. Yeah. I knew it, but I knew that there could be some challenges, of course, but okay, what's the challenge? Like, if anything, that's like a hard jump shot. Okay. Shoot it again. Like,
wow.
So it was a challenge, but then it wasn't. Like, if anything, I feel like when I was at Romulus middle school, Romulus Junior High, that was the time where I was really just kind of being like, am I about to be a little thug? Like, what am I like? And I'm like, I know my mama don't want me to be that. My daddy don't want me to be that. What am I doing with this rap? This rap music is changing me.
Yeah.
And thank God for the good rap music. De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest and positive music that canceled the other music out. It kind of let us know, you know what? These dudes are rapping about this. If you want to listen to it, go ahead. But these dudes are rapping about this. And it can uplift you. It doesn't have to keep you in this mean, because I wasn't this mean dude. I wasn't mad. All of my fights in my neighborhood, and I fought a lot of people.
Did
all
you?
In my neighborhood were all because they thought I was just so nice, and I was. Okay. And it was like people picked on me, and I had all of my fights were just from people picking on me, thinking I wasn't, gonna fight back. I remember my father put me in a karate class, and he's like, "Yeah, you can defend yourself with this karate stuff, pretty much." And I remember fighting on the corner. On the corner of the block, and it was I ain't gonna put the names out there, but I remember fighting, and I was like, I'm not using this karate. I think they're gonna laugh at me if I use this karate. I'm just gonna throw punches.
You are Cobra Kai with it. Just
I know it was like that. I was like, no, I'm not even gonna use this because I knew that I was tough, but I didn't want to use that as like credit. Like I didn't want to be the guy to bully people. I didn't want to walk around like, look, I'll punch you in the face. No, I already knew there were people like that. And I used to be like, why? You know, I used to try to be cool with those people, like. And then they were offering me to join this gang, you know, JBM and all.
Yeah, JBM.
I shut that down. I was like, no, I don't need to be part of JBM.
Yeah,
y'all actually just trying to get some girls, and girls already like me, so I'm good. I don't even need that, man. I make them laugh, so they, you know.
That's real. That's so real. Like you taking me back because I forgot about those old little gangs and stuff. Yeah. What's so wild is a lot of people, when I tell them I'm from Romulus, they're like, what? You know, they don't think Romulus had any kind of like hood, nothing. And I'm like, where you get that from? Like, basically Inkster Jr. Like, what are you talking about?
That's so clutch how you said that. Inkster Jr.
Like Inkster Jr. You know, so we did have to watch our back. Like, I was never in a gang, but I certainly had people, you know, like my squad was like, you know, I knew that if anything went down, I knew who to go to for some coverage. If I'll just leave it like that, you know, so I was never in it.
Look,
but I mean, you know,
sometimes in your neighborhood, there is just that gang. Exactly. And so I remember they created BMP, behind McDonald's posse, and I was like, I ain't part of that. No, that's the younger ones. I ain't in that.
I forgot about that gang, man. I forgot. But you know, the Valley. I forgot the Valley one, but yeah, I was just like, y'all go be great. You know, my parents were not about that life, and neither was I. So,
and speaking on the Valley, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
Yogi and I were best friends.
So here's the thing. You about to make me like cry on this thing.
Saying.
So. Yeah.
That was my best friend, like for real.
So here's what you don't know. And so audience, I'm sorry, we just having a little nostalgic song. We're gonna get into the stuff. But the thing about Calvin and I, we knew like of each other in school, but we didn't really like know each other. So this is a conversation and we're like catching up, and we have not talked since high school, maybe.
Right.
So this is literally, aside from me just saying, hey, can I get you on the show? So we're having a little moment. So excuse us. Yogi lived across the street from me. And so growing up, I always tell people that was literally like my brother, like my best friend growing up, literally. So that's what's wild about what you just said, because I didn't know that. And so when I was growing up, I was sort of the baby of the crew in the Valley. And my mom and Yogi's mom were really good friends. And you know, his grandparents were like my homies. Like they came to my open house, high school graduation open house, and they just hung out, you know, and that was hard because I'm like, you know,
yeah. In
fact, when Yogi died, literally the night, and this is hard because I haven't talked about this in years, but the day, you know, he asked me to go to that party with him. He asked me. And my parents were like, no, you're not going. Because I was like the youngest in the crew, right? And so they're like, you're not going. And I mean, I had a whole fit, got in trouble, like grounded, like the whole thing. And my mom woke me up at 2 a.m. and she told me. And I was just like a mess. Like, so that stuck with me for years. And so part of just my testimony in life, like I always share with people that when I was growing up, you know, my best friend was killed in high school. That was Yogi. Like he was like my brother, you know, we did a ton of stuff together, and like right across the street. Come on. I was always downstairs in the basement playing with his little Nerf stuff, basketball. Like,
stop it. You know how many times we fought over getting dunked on and us trying to win? Like, you remember he used to wear them used jeans and that Stewart shirt. Stop it. So yeah, my mom and his mom were real cool, and that's how we connected. And she was like, "Yeah, Yogi's the only child, so Calvin should hang out." And so we started, and then we ended up, you know, just always being together.
Yeah, man.
And, he was killed by gun violence.
Yep.
You know, it was the first person in our space to die with that. Like Boys in the Hood had came out like right around that time. And then it happened in our city. And we were like, it was like the eye opener of the century for us. Like, so you think this can really happen?
Yeah.
And it did.
I was terrified after that. Like, you know, my parents lived right on the corner. I'd get off the bus and run into the house. because I was just scared, man.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk offline. I'm sorry.
When you said the Valley, I was like, hold on.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to take it there, man. I didn't know y'all had that relationship like that. That's wild. That's something. So we will definitely talk offline more about that another time. For sure. So thank you for that though. So I do want to know how you went from the Calvin. So you had just so many things. I had no idea. It was just such a rich background, right? I want to know how you got from there to, like, did you always know you wanted to be a teacher and go into education? And then also let's talk your basketball background. So first of all, for the audience, guys, let me tell y'all something. Calvin Sibert was ridiculous on the court. And I'm not just saying that. Like, this brother right here, I would watch him and I'm like, okay, he is something different.
Look, I had this drive about myself, and thank you for saying that. I just had this drive about myself, like I wanted to be the best. Kobe Bryant. Even before Kobe Bryant, it was Isaiah Thomas, and for me, basketball was always special to me. So from the neighborhood to playing on teams and stuff. But the only thing that jammed me up is I kept getting injured. I got injured my first day of basketball practice at Aquinas. I broke my wrist.
Jeez,
and I was so mad at my mom because I was like, you told me I couldn't play football because I was gonna get hurt. I could have been out here Barry Sanders and people,
right?
Now my first day of practice, I broke my wrist. And so then the next year I tried out again, and I ended up tearing cartilage in my knee. So every year it was like, but I just kept saying, I'm gonna make it to the NBA. Some way I got to make it to the NBA. And I remember my dad, he was like, you know what, son, I got to keep it real with you. And by the way, my dad is Mr. Smooth. By the way, he's the ballroom guru of the United States.
Wait, your dad is Mr. Smooth?
Yeah, there's only two Calvin Cyberts out here. Wait a minute. I'm Smooth Junior. I'm going by Coach Calvin and the Game Changer Education.
Dude, I'm Smooth. Like, we gotta have a conversation because
it's a whole nother plug.
That's a whole nother plug.
So my father, he broke it down to me and he said, Calvin, how are you going to make it to the NBA if every year you keep getting hurt? I just want to, like, how are you going to do that? They need to know who you are. You got to be like the best on the team to make it, like just being for real. And I remember that day I was like, I don't know, Dad. Some way, somehow, I'm going to make it to the NBA, man. I don't know. No, like, get off my back. Get off my back, Dad. I'm going to figure it out some way. So just this crazy faith that I always had, because I grew up Catholic, and just this faith. I've always believed in the Lord. So that's always been it. So that was the crazy faith I was throwing out there, Dad. Sure. And so when I realized, like, in high school, my sister went to Western Michigan. Okay. So in high school, I never really cared about getting A's and B's. I just was like, you know what, as long as I get these B's and C's, I'm good. Like, the top grades weren't it for me. I didn't want that. And at that time. And then I realized, like, okay, so my sister went to Western Michigan. She's 2 years older than me. And that was the moment I realized, I said, you know what? If my sister went to college, I'm going too. And then I started kind of speaking to my counselors, and they were asking me things like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you got to pick something. And I'm like, well, let's just go with business, because Boys in the Hood, Furious Styles said, you got to have your own business, Black business, so you can give back to your community. I rolled out the Boys in the Hood. Shout out to John, can't shoot out John Singleton.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
But that movie changed, it put that in me. So it made me think, like, you know what? I need to have my own business, flat out. Wow. Now, when I started at Western Michigan, that was the space that I entered. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do business classes. And those classes were so hard. I was dropping them left and right. It's like, nah, man, I can't even. I'm not about to fail out like this. Like, nah. Like, I remember I had an instructor. He said the highest grade you can get in this class is a C, just to let you know. And I was like, what? Like,
he started it off.
Threw me off. I was like, all right, peace out. I'm dropping that class. So, fast forwarding it to my junior year, I stayed in that space, just took, more general eds, but I realized, like, I don't even really want to do this business stuff. And my counselor, shout out to Jody, she said, you better figure it out soon, because you've been, this is like going on this is like your third year, so you got to figure it out. And so I went to church.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna plug who my girlfriend was at the time, but
okay.
It was a competitive. Actually, I'm very competitive. So my girlfriend gave her life to the Lord, and I said, she ain't gonna outdo me and get her life better before me. So I'm about to give my life to the Lord too.
Are you kidding me? That's how this went
Exactly
down.
how I was like, I already know I should be doing this anyway. I'm just holding out. And since my girlfriend was a little bit younger than me, I was like, you know what? She ain't gonna outdo me on following the Lord. Come on now, I can do that too. So I ended up, giving my life to the Lord and asking Him to show me my purpose. Yeah. And I remember being at church, and I closed my eyes and I said this prayer, that just show me what it is am I supposed to do? Why am I in college? What am I supposed to do? And when I opened up my eyes, there was this young girl staring at me. And I was like, what, education or something? And literally after that, somebody in college said, you can be a substitute teacher if you have 65 credits and a 2.5 GPA overall. And I was like, I got all that. And they was like, yeah, you get paid like $75 a day too. I'm like, what? That's big money in college. Like,
that was the start. Yeah, 75 was the start.
So I was like, all right, let me give it a shot.
Nice.
And I tell you, when I walked into that class, I was subbing for a high school too. I walked into that class, and it was literally like walking into my destiny.
Wow, Calvin.
I was like, this is it. The kids have respect for me. I talked to them about college. It was like this moment of, asking for. And then I went back to my counselor Jody, and I said, guess what? I'm switching my major. I'm going to school for education, and I said specifically elementary education, because I knew I was too young, and I had this baby face still, and I was like, I don't. An older teacher told me it's going to be dangerous for you to teach in a high school setting, because all it takes is for one young lady to say something about you, and you already look young, like your age. She's like, if I were you, I would pick the elementary space, because that's different, and I just wouldn't want you to have to, form a lie. It could ruin your whole thing. Yeah. And so I say elementary education is.
That's amazing. I love this story. So, gosh, so that was what year? This had to be.
This was 1997.
Okay, so 97. You graduated from Western.
Look. I don't know if you listen to Eric Thomas, but me and him, we relate a lot. First of all, we were born on the same day, September 3rd. Second of all, the college experience kind of similar. It took me 5 years after that. So it took me 8 years to get my bachelor's degree, because I switched my major. And every summer I went home. I wanted to see my girlfriend, so I went home every summer, and I worked at Ford and made a little money, and then I came back to school. So it took me a long time, and I tell people, the same thing, like, just stick with it, just stay with it, even if it takes long and you owe a little more money at the end, student loans or whatever. At least you find your space and your purpose, and you can pay that back. You can pay that back on the back end.
Wow, I love that. Wow. So was math always your jam? Like, because I know
math was always my favorite. So I remember being in St. Aloysius, and I always liked math because I like numbers.
Okay.
And there was this kid that was real good at multiplication. We used to play Around the World. Remember Around the World?
Yeah.
And there was this kid named Charlie Hoffman. Shout out to Charlie Hoffman. You made me, man. I don't know where you at. Charlie Hoffman. So he used to beat everybody in the class. And I remember one day I asked my dad, like, how come I can't beat him? He's like, because every day when you come out of school, you're shooting jump shots in the backyard. Why don't you write out your times tables? Keep writing them, and then you'll probably be able to beat him. I literally did that.
Wow.
Came back and I popped him that day. And I was so hyped, like, yeah, Charlie, you didn't expect me. I was ready today. 18-6-48, let's go. So
I love it.
That made it. And then math has always been my space. But when I got into probably like junior year and it got all tricky with the math, it got harder. Like all that. It just got. I was like, whoa. I like the other kind.
I got you. That's amazing. So you have taught, so just for the audience, so you've taught in Detroit. How many years did you teach in Detroit?
So I graduated in 2003. I always say I taught for 20 years because, you know, from when I started subbing, I include that. But my first teaching job was at Center for Literacy and Creativity. It was a small school off of McNichols and Southfield Freeway.
Okay.
And, I taught there for a long time. I don't even know how long, but I taught there so long. I was there until they got closed down.
Okay. Okay. Good.
2 years. I went to Kalamazoo and I taught at a school called Paramount Charter School. And I remember there was only one black kid in the class. And I remember how easy it was to teach, and me feeling like, you know what, I left my kids in Detroit for these kids in Kalamazoo and Portage that don't really need me. And this one little kid in this class, he the only one give me a hard time. Right. Remind me of me, you know, back in the day, like, you know, of course I finally did get him to budge and root for me, which helped him. But I ended up coming back to Detroit, back to the same school, and then I taught there for like 4 more years, and then that school closed down, and then I went to Michigan Technical Academy.
Okay, sure.
On Telegraph, no, on 7 Mile, actually 7 Mile on Telegraph, and I taught there, and then can I tell this story?
You can tell the story. This is my time. And I tell people if it's just long, we gonna snip them up a little bit later. And if you want to catch it later on the rebroadcast, they can. So go ahead.
Because this is a part of my destiny and of how I made it to learn fresh in NBA math hoops.
Absolutely.
So I was teaching at Michigan Technical Academy, and the principal that hired me actually wanted me to fail. He looked just like me when and there was only 2 other black male teachers, and the other guy was a freshman, and I was the seasoned teacher. Okay. Well, I called him a freshman, but no, his first year teacher.
I got you.
So I ended up so I was given all the challenging kids. Like there were like 5 3rd grade classes, and I was given all of those kids. Which I was like, dang, why would he do that? Why didn't he spread that out? And I didn't even know because I wasn't even at that school. So the other teachers, they let me know.
So wait, time out. So how many students was this approximately?
I had like 30 in that class.
Okay.
And actually 4 of my kids came from the school that closed down and was like, we're following you, Mr. Sibert.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they came to that class.
Nice.
And I had these students that were just giving me a hard time, like to the extreme I had never seen. And I was like, why am I not? I'm always able to, you know, change how a kid looks at class and stuff. Like, why is it not working? And that was when one of the teachers said, yeah, he gave you all these tough kids. I don't think he wants to see you make it.
Wow.
And I remember praying to the Lord and asking the Lord to give me a strategy on how to fix this. Shout out to my father, Mr. Smooth. I brought ballroom to the classroom.
Did you now?
So this principal said you cannot take the kids out for recess because they can't read. So if I see any kids out for recess, you know, you can pretty much pack your bags and leave, because I don't want to see any kids out here having fun because they can't read.
So this was punishment for them because they couldn't read. So they couldn't have an outlet though for
didn't have an outlet.
Wow.
It was like, no. And I was like, oh, they can't go outside.
That's whack.
Okay. So that means that I can have fun with them in class. Okay. So that means that if I start teaching them how to ballroom dance, which they've never heard of, but they love me, they're going to start being gentlemen and classy young ladies.
Nice move.
And during the normal outside recess time, we did 20 to 30 minutes of ballroom dancing. And I taught them the basics, and I would play like instrumentals of the songs that they liked.
Okay, sure.
To connect them. And next thing you know, my class, the whole behavior changed. I had the highest scores out of all the third grade classes.
Nice.
They kept asking me, how did you do it? How did you do it? And I said, I just, I actually did say it. I said, I prayed. I prayed and asked God to give me a strategy. And I started teaching them how to ballroom dance. And then they started to have confidence. And the kids that were giving me a hard time, they were the best dancers and they were my boys and they were the leaders.
That's amazing.
And then the next thing you know, they were at their mother-son dance, twirling their mamas.
Yes. Come on now.
And so at the end of that year, like I said, my class had the highest scores for all the standardized tests. Their behavior changed. So he lost. The principal lost with that deal. He wanted to see me fail. And so at the end of the year, he pulled me in. And I'm thinking, they're getting ready to give me a raise or something. Because I'm like, I saw what I did. And even the people that they pulled in to help, get the classes in order and things like that, people from the state and things, they even said it too, like, wow, you really, they just gave me the shout out. Like they showed me love. And I'll never forget, because I've never lost a job. They said, as they pulled me in, they said, you know what? You're not in our vision for next year.
What?
And I'll never forget, on the website, they had me ballroom dancing with my students.
Stop playing.
And I said, okay. I said, so just make sure you take down the ballroom video, because that was something that I brought to the class.
That part.
And then as I packed up everything and thought like, wow, I got fired. I remember telling my wife, like, I got fired. Like, but they were firing other people too. But I was just like, but I didn't deserve that.
Wow.
And shout out to my friend from college, James Mallet. He said, I know the school that's perfect for you. It's called the Detroit Academy of Arts and Sciences.
Nice.
And he said, go to that school and tell them I sent you. And next thing you know, I met with Mrs. Neal, who was the principal at that time. Shout out to Mrs. Neal.
Okay.
And I actually was applying for a science class.
Okay.
Which I wasn't going to be really too happy about teaching science.
Okay.
But I would have, because, I can figure it out. I'm smart. And so I thought I was applying for that, but they ended up creating a new position. And it was called the Student Success Seminar class. And they said, we want you to run that class. That class is going to focus on strengthening of math, strengthening of ELA, motivation, financial literacy.
Yes. That's the golden ticket, man. That's the golden ticket. What grade level was this? Or was it
sixth grade? It was a middle school. So fantastic. I was in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade building, and I was teaching a 6th grade class.
Okay.
And then the goal was for me to loop with that class, take them to 7th grade and to 8th grade.
Okay.
So in the beginning, like when I started there, my principal, she said, go to this training called MBA Math Hoops. We got you signed up. I said, excuse me, did you say MBA in math? Did you say? And she said, yeah, it's just some training, go check it out and bring it back to the class. And our CEO, he trained us on the west side of Detroit. And literally through the whole thing, I had my iPad recording the whole thing because I didn't want to miss anything.
Sure.
And I took notes and at the end of the training, I shook his hand and I said, Nick, I'll see you at the national championship.
Wow.
Because that was the goal, to make it to the national championship the first time ever. And so I turned my classroom into an NBA locker room. I went to GameStop, and as at the time, Paul George was the character on the NBA 2K game.
Yep.
He had this life-size cardboard character of him. And I went to GameStop and I said, can I buy this? And they said, what do you want that for? You a grown man.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did. On Jefferson, they keep it real. Like, you're a grown man, man. Quit acting weird. What you
right.
And I said, no, I'm about to teach this program called NBA Math Hoops. And I feel like if I bring this in my class, my kids are going to be super hyped. Like, it's going to make a connection with them. And I said, how much, man? I'll buy it. And he said, since you're a teacher, man, you're going to do it like that. Shoot, you can just take it, bro.
That's what's up. Oh, my God.
I folded it up, brought it in the classroom. Like I said, I turned my classroom into this NBA space. And next thing you know, my students were on board. Like,
wow.
Whatever you say, Mr. Sibert, let's go.
That's amazing.
So I was able to pull my love of NBA, and they saw that. Whatever, if you're an educator out there, whatever you're excited about, all you gotta do is just show it, and it's gonna rub off right on those students, even the ones that don't even like what you like. In a minute, they will, because you're so excited about it.
That's such a huge statement. I mean, just the fact that you said show it, because a lot of times, and we kind of hit this on an episode a few weeks ago. A lot of times we just hold our gifts, we hoard our gifts. We don't want to put them out because, maybe we're nervous. We don't want the scrutiny. We don't want the spotlight. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. I'm nervous. I don't want to get it out. And it's so important that we do, someone just posted. Okay. Sorry. There's so many things happening. I'm like, something just popped up right here. I'm like, I don't even know where that came from. I think YouTube.
Right.
But I think it's so important that we do step out and we have to take that step of faith. We just got to take the step, and we have to be visible in these spaces. Right. And so I love that you said that. And just the fact that if you put it out there, they will be excited because you're doing it. That's most kids just want somebody to look up to, and they just want that attention, and they want to feel validated from, someone who is older than them, bigger than them, greater than them in that aspect. So thank you so much for that, for sure.
And then check this out. Kids like gifts. So the next thing you know, after a month of playing the board game in the classroom, we were given 8 tickets to the Pistons versus Rockets game.
Nice.
And guess how close we were? We were like 8 rows from the court.
I bet that was fantastic.
And my students had never been to a game because it was at the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Sure. Okay. Yep.
Some folks don't even. That's a 45-minute drive.
That's
you might get pulled over and it might not be able to make it back. Mess around, depending on what month of insurance you haven't paid or have not
paid. Facts. Exactly. So let me ask you, so Math NBA Hoops, how popular was the program at that time? Was it just piloting? Had it been around for some time? Around what year was this? I'm just curious to know that.
So this was like the 3rd year that the program was going. At the time, I think there were about 5 NBA teams that were connected, and those 5 teams, they did special events with those teams. So we could connect with players. I remember KD was at the Golden State Warriors event.
Okay.
Shooting around with the kids. They met him, Klay Thompson. Just when you think of all the popular players, they were at these events and showing love to this program.
Nice.
And so the ultimate goal, like I said, was to make it to this national championship. Which was the first time. That's how new it was. This was the first national championship.
Got you.
And I went all in with the program because I had nothing to lose. I was like, look, I got this new position here. I'm teaching a class that I ain't never even heard of in the education space. I'm teaching a program that's connected to the NBA. I'm slightly feeling like I'm in the NBA right now.
Right.
The program.
Which was the childhood dream. And so you were able to kind of merge these things together, which is fantastic.
Yep. And then we got the email that my student was selected out of the 20,000 kids that was doing the program to make it to the national championship, which was in California.
Okay.
And the Golden State Warriors was hosting the national championship. My student was so excited. He was in tears. He couldn't believe it. First time playing, first time experience, just, a kid from Detroit. Shoot, the event was hosted at Stanford University.
Wow. Okay.
And he still to this day wants to go to that college because of that experience and all of that. It was just amazing. And so all the kids, they toured San Francisco, the Bay Area. It was just beautiful. It was just amazing. A weekend that the NBA Math was the sweet part, but there was so much other stuff that the kids were, all across the world. I remember back in the day when we did pen pals and stuff. I'm telling our age, but
I know, right? I had a whole French pen pal.
But nowadays, it's like that was a moment where we're actually pulling them all together. Everybody gets to learn about everybody's culture and background, and that was really amazing to me.
I love that.
We ended up coming in 2nd place, our Detroit Pistons team, which was really cool. My student actually, I'm gonna throw him under the bus. He didn't like coming in 2nd place. He wanted to win the whole thing. But like I told him, man, man, you won, man. You're the only kid out here from Detroit representing Detroit Pistons in the tournament. You made it to the last game.
Yes.
And you did your part. So, and then after that, he didn't even know, but all of the kids got about $5,000 worth of swag from all the teams that fund the company.
Nice.
So it was like Christmas in June.
Yes.
I mean, he got a signed basketball from Magic Johnson in the plastic from Michigan State. I was like, bro, you better not ever take that ball out the plastic.
Ever.
And when you get married and have a son in that order, you pass it.
Right.
That kid and,
don't let it hit the asphalt. Just keep
him know how special it was.
Absolutely.
So,
man, okay, all right. This is great. I love this conversation. We got a lot of people chiming in. I'm just going to pause for the cause for a second here.
That's what's up.
You got, I don't know if you remember Nakia Davis.
Yeah,
all in here.
That's the nurse. That's the goat over there.
He is the goat, for real, for real. So shout out to Nakia. We got Lavita in here, and she says she definitely wants this for her boys. She says, "What a way to impact a child just by carrying a natural gift." Absolutely, Nakia just gave you a shout back.
Thank you. That's what's up, Lavita.
I love it. Over here. We've got somebody that says, wonderful advice, huge math fit. I don't know who that is, but I'm glad you're watching. Thank you.
Oh, that's Dana.
Okay.
That's Dana.
Awesome. Thank you, Dana, for tuning in.
She know about them third graders.
Okay. Is that right?
She was my lead teacher, actually. She taught me the game. They call her the Jay-Z of the classroom.
Get out of here.
She's so smooth with her teaching style. Like,
okay. Go ahead, Dana. Go ahead. I love it. So Learn Fresh. Let's talk about kind of what's going on with Learn Fresh, NBA Math Hoops. You've got like a podcast. There's so much that's happening right now. You've got some digital things. What's happening currently, or at least, back up a little bit, Learn Fresh and your role with them, and then how it all comes together.
So here's what it is. Learn Fresh is a nonprofit organization that creates board games that are fun for the classroom, connected to the NBA, NFL, and the MLB.
Get out of here. Okay, I didn't think.
So those are all our plugs. They help fund the companies. So actually, in the Detroit area, the program is actually free because of the Detroit Pistons.
Did y'all hear that? Did everybody hear that?
So you just got to connect with me. And the program is free. And I've taught so many programs in the 20 years in the classroom. $1,000 programs that teachers just put on the shelf and don't even teach. So when this came in, I was like, wow, and this is a free program. Thank you to the NBA teams that give back and showing the love, because this is what's needed.
Absolutely.
So our whole mission is just to make learning fun, and we leverage with sports and math to make that connection.
I love that. And
so first it was the board game. It was NBA Math Hoops. That's our premier product.
Okay.
And then we created an NFL game called First and 10.
Nice. Yep. Wait, when was that? When was that?
That was being piloted in the Denver area. So for the Denver Broncos, we haven't pushed out to other teams just yet, because NBA Math Hoops has been just such a hit that we've been knocking that out, slam dunking NBA Math Hoops.
Yeah, y'all been killing that. Okay.
And so in the midst of that, we created a baseball game called Math Hits, and nice. I wrote the curriculum for that. It's being piloted in Oakland, so it's called Oakland Athletics Math Hits. And
you better come on, sir.
I'm saying so. Yes. I do have to say this too, just to be honest.
Sure.
When I was in the classroom, and Dana knows this, I did not like writing lesson plans.
I'm gonna just cough over here, but go ahead.
I did not like that part.
My principal is watching right now. I just saw her.
I'm sorry, I didn't like doing it. It just
I didn't like doing it.
What do you mean? I know what I got to teach. I know what I got to do. No, we need the fidelity behind what you're teaching. Like, we need to make sure you are, teaching the right stuff. And so I never really liked that part. I like the teaching part, of course. That's my gift there. But I never really liked the writing lesson plans, and I was never in really in a curriculum writing space.
Okay.
So, but here's how God moves. You just never know. Just because you don't like doing something doesn't mean that you may not be good at it.
Or say that again for all of us.
Because you don't like doing something doesn't mean that you might not be good at it.
Amen to
so that. I went from being the director of programs to now the chief academic officer, meaning I am now writing curriculums all over the place.
That's wild, Calvin.
I have 3 curriculums in the pocket right now that I can't even share with you all because it's that global.
That's amazing.
And I would have never in a million years thought that I would be in a space of writing curriculums and being able to use my gift, my style, my way, and it being okay. I never thought I could do that. So, so to be able to, what I really do, I write curriculums, I host webinars, I train all the teachers, I rep all the games. I just keep all the kids excited about our program while connecting with NBA players and interviewing NBA players in classrooms. And I mean, this pandemic has really turned over another leaf. We've pivoted and we now have a digital game.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, so what was this like, because what I know about you, because I was keeping up a little bit, and I know you, how everything has changed, in this virtual space. So I want to hear about this digital game. I want to hear about how you are connecting people across the US and is it also global? And like, do you guys have a solid global footprint at this point? This is amazing. Just go. I love this.
So I remember doing the last event at the Milwaukee Bucks Arena. And that was the last in-person event. We were doing a tournament there. And right after that, there was, the messages started going out about, COVID. And then we pretty much had like all these other events going on and we had to cancel them. I remember I kept thinking to myself, you know what? It's just going to go away. This is just something like this. In about a couple of weeks, we'll be back on the road.
Wow.
And it never happened. It just kept going another month and another month and another month. And we were getting ready to have this national championship event. Like I said, all these kids were going to fly into one location and we were going to do the same thing that I did, with my student that year. And we had to come up with a way to keep that happening. So we all got together as a team through Zoom. We talked about it and we said, you know what, we got to do it virtually. We got to do a virtual way. And at that time, it was a Zoom and the kids would, play the game virtually and I would ref the game, make it cool. I pretty much turned it into like if you were watching a real game. So the game is pretty much the kids roll the dice, they do their math, and then they roll the dice, and whatever the dice say, they have to add those 2 numbers, subtract those 2 numbers, multiply those 2 numbers, and then divide those 2 numbers.
Nice.
And since the court is the court has an odd and even side. So one odd side has odd numbers with different color circles, and the even side has even numbers with different color numbers. And
go ahead, hold it up if you got it. It looks like you're looking off to the side. Go ahead.
I thought I had it over here, but I probably moved it around somewhere. But these are some of the player cards here. And if you notice, they're different colors.
Yes.
They got different color player cards, and the color connection are the colors that are on the court. So the colors will have numbers, like there'll be like a yellow number 2, which will mean that Steph Curry's got to shoot a 3-point shot. And you'd be like, how'd you get the number 2? Well, if you roll 2 and 1, 2 times 1 is 2.
Oh, gotcha.
If I had Steph Curry and I needed to shoot a 3-point shot, I'm shooting with that number 2.
Right.
And so on the back side of the card, and I'm gonna show you. On the back side of the card is the actual player's stats.
Oh, cool. What? Get out of here. Cool.
Yep. And so to make a shot, the kids would have to, and we did this virtually. Of course, in person, it would be laying flat, but virtually, they would have to hold it up to their camera and literally flick it.
Got you.
And you see, of course, I'll go miss my shot right now. That's all right.
Of course.
It goes down like that. You can miss. If it lands in the gray area, you miss. If it lands in the orange, you make it. So the good thing is that anybody can win. Well, anybody. It's not necessarily, even if your math is correct, that doesn't guarantee you to win. You still got to flick that spinner, and that spinner has to land in the right area. Gotcha. So once we created this virtual tournament where the kids were playing virtually, we was like, you know what, we got to turn this up another notch, because the kids in the classroom aren't going to be able to do that throughout the school year.
Right.
So we're going to have to make a digital game that is the same. And that's what we created, a digital game.
You are kidding me. This is like ridiculous.
Clever,
let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Clever created the digital game for us. Hasbro created our Hasbro, they made our board games.
Okay.
And so and NBA Cares are a part of that. So we just got all the right plugs and connections. Like it just kept getting better. And now we also have a mobile app. Check this out. So we had this mobile app for a while. I did it in my classroom. It's pretty much a 3-point contest. You put the grade level that you're on, and you got to answer the math questions, and you got to shoot these threes. Fun.
What's the name of the mobile app?
NBA Math Hoops.
Okay, so it's all
free download for Android and iOS.
Okay.
Yep. And so it used to be a 3-point contest, but you got Coach Calvin in the building. It's time to take it up another notch. So we thought about it like, hey, why not just turn it into the whole NBA All-Star Weekend? We need the dunk contest. We need the skills challenge, the locker challenge. I mean, we need everything except the celebrity game with Kevin Hart. We don't need Kevin Hart dunking on our game. No need. But what we're going to do is we're going to have all these different game pieces that they can play. In case they get tired of the 3-point contest, let's dunk the ball. In case they get tired of dunking it, let's get to the locker room challenge. And so what happens is the better you play, the more math questions you get correct, you start to unlock jerseys. And this is an NBA and WNBA. So we got all the NBA and NBA teams. So you unlock the jerseys, you unlocking the courts.
Nice.
It's just, I gave it to my son one summer, and I was like, check it out. And in 2 days, he did not put the game down. He had unlocked everything. Like he couldn't stop playing. It was addictive. Like just like all the other games, it's got this it's got an NBA 2K type of feel to it.
Okay.
And the graphics look good. It's it's like I don't mean to say it, but our program is a disguised learning program. We are tricking the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. So this Clever designed it? Did they came up with this? That's
they created the digital game for us.
Sure. Okay. Wow.
Yep.
All right. So to be clear, we've got it. We can download this on our iOS. My cousin just posted. She said, really cool. I want to play. I love it. My cousin.
That's right. Hey, and it goes from the kindergarten level. So here's the extra thing we added.
Okay.
It goes from the kindergarten level to college.
Nice.
So depending on what grade level you want to put it on, I just want to show this right quick.
Yeah, please. Okay.
That's my
let me spotlight you. Hold on.
The lead team right there.
Let me spotlight you. Hold on. Let's do this. All right. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Oh, that's sick, Calvin.
You see the game change on there. I haven't unlocked everything. The slam dunk contest is coming soon, but that's how it looks. And instead of just playing all the Candy Crush, whatever kids play all the time, I don't know, Fortnite, Minecraft, whatever the popular game is. Why don't you go ahead and switch it over? And here's the sweet part. You can actually pick the specific math content that you want to focus on.
That's really cool, man. So hold on. So K through college.
Yep.
So what are we talking about? Like what level of college? We talking about differential equations? Where how far are we going up here?
Well, I'll just say maybe your freshman year.
Okay.
I wrote the curriculum, so
okay.
I didn't want to take it too far off my chart.
I feel you. That is amazing.
But I wanted to make it cool enough to where everybody could, every space. Like, sometimes students make it to 7th grade and they don't know their times tables.
Well, I teach 7th graders and some do not right now.
And so, and I know. And so here's a quiet way of learning, and nobody even has to know. You can shoot jump shots and put the ball behind your leg, jump over the car, slam dunk. Like,
That's
and
awesome.
learn those math facts like that. So whatever it is that you need to focus on, it's right there for you.
I love
Super
that.
game changer.
That is great. Lavita said, no Trig. We got Trig in here?
No, I ain't messing around with y'all.
Lavita, no Trig.
That's right now. You know, we always leveling up. So
yeah,
you know, that may be something we can add to it.
That's crazy, man. So okay, so to be clear, we've got the digital platform.
Now, so to get the digital game, you do have to join a webinar where I show you how to pretty much do the whole thing.
Okay.
So you can actually shoot my email on here, calvin@learnfresh.org. calvin@learnfresh.org. And if you want to be a part of it, if you're teaching at home, I'll plug you in. If you're in a school, I'll plug you in. I'm actually going to pass the ball to my Scottie Pippen. I like to call her Rebecca. Shout out to Rebecca on our team. Awesome. She'll send you the email once you let me know. I'll pass the rock to her, and then she gonna alley-oop it.
I love it. Okay, guys. So Nakia said bet. All right, and we got Roger in here. I remember Roger from back in the day. You remember Roger?
I do. What's up, Roger?
Because I feel like he was in education. I just lost the comment. It's so hard navigating all this stuff.
It's all good.
He said congratulations. That's what I remember. But
thank you.
I can't find it again right now though, but that's what he said. So just know that. But guys, so check out Calvin at learnfresh.org if you are interested in the digital platform and everything that you need to do. So my principal is actually watching right now, and so I'm glad. And so she's posting a few things. I'm really excited about that. So she said that we're actually meeting with Rebecca this week, so that's awesome. So my own love that. Shout out to Rebecca for doing it. This is great. I love it.
She's actually the teacher who beat our students. We met in the final game.
Okay.
In the first national championship. Ironically, both of us now work for LearnFresh.
That's crazy. I love it. I love how these things are coming full circle. So real quick, just because we're gonna get back to the product and we're gonna wrap up probably in another maybe 15 minutes here. How did you get to LearnFresh? Did I miss that part? Like, how did you?
No, okay, I got you.
Okay, get that part.
So literally at the I'm gonna go back. I like to be honest.
Please.
When I first started the program, I loved it so much that I started to send emails to the CEO, and I said, if a position ever opens, let me know.
Oh wow, nice.
And I was relentless with that. I think I sent him that every month, and maybe that's not even relentless. That I guess relentless could have been every week, but to me, it was like I was like, I'm here. I don't know what y'all got going on, but I love this. And then shout out to the basketball coach at Detroit Academy of Arts and Sciences, Mr. Arrington. I asked him, I said, how do I take this to the next level? Because I want everybody to see what I'm doing. Like, I know I got a Snapchat account, but that ain't doing it.
Right.
How do I take it to the next level? And he said, oh, you need to create a Twitter account. And I was like, really? Man, I'm already on Facebook, man. That's another. I was like, you heard me. I was like,
I get it.
Not another one.
Yep.
He's like, that's the business one, though. And if you post on that one will get you the right people to see it.
That's amazing.
And so I did that. I followed the script. Remember, and I hope I like to teach everybody. I hope I'm just giving little tidbits like, don't be afraid to be sweet. Don't be afraid to do what somebody said to do, even though you don't really want to do it.
That's good stuff.
Do it. It can change your life. And so I kept doing that, and next thing I knew, Paula Tutman was coming to my classroom interviewing me with Earl Puritan, and we were going on all these field trips and stuff. And at the national championship, while my student was playing the game, the LearnFresh team pulled me in for a job interview.
What?
I had no clue that I was going to be on a job interview. I was actually like, what is going on? I got to coach my students for this game. Are y'all trying to cheat my students? I gotta get back to coaching my student. I gotta make sure they're cool. And I got pulled into this interview, and next thing I know, I was just being honest about myself and my passion for education. And then next thing I know, they was like, okay, go ahead back. And and I went back and I saw that my team was down by like 15 points. And I was like, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't even tell y'all what was just happening, but I'm sorry, but get your back in the game. And we actually did. We came back and we only lost by the last shot.
Oh, what? Okay.
I know we made it. And actually, just like how I did the spinner on that shot.
Yes.
Dude, it had the last shot.
Wow.
He had the last shot with Chris Paul, actually.
Okay.
And it went around.
And it just landed in the grave.
Landed like but that was there's actually a YouTube video called the NBA Math Hoop Story.
Okay.
It's about 30 minutes. It shares actually why we did not win.
Really?
And I don't even want to give no more about it.
Okay.
It was the reason we didn't win. Sometimes second place, you got to own that space.
Good.
Sometimes, and there was an actual time where, so I won the Game Changer of the Month award. That was where the Pistons acknowledged the Teacher of the Month, and I got that award the day that my students actually went to that Pistons Rockets game. They called me out to the court, put me on the screen, and I walked out with the two cheerleaders, and they awarded me for being the Game Changer of the month. They gave me $1,000 and a jersey,
dude.
The Game Changer on it. And so when I made it back to my students, like after I walked, I always like to tell this part. I made it back to my students, and all they wanted to know, what is your wife gonna say about you walking out with them two cheerleaders?
The cheerleaders.
I was like, first of all, he's not gonna say anything. That's their job. Like, they're not my ladies.
Right.
Their job. They just walked me out. But a seventh grader, or actually they were sixth grade at the time. They were that's what they thought. Like, oh, you about to be in trouble, Mr. Sibert. Mrs. Sibert gonna get you. And so after that, I was like, wow, like that was another moment of like, this is just real. Like this is real, like for real. And so after that, the 5 educators that won the Game Changer of the Month, they put everybody in this pot and pretty much said to vote. And I started sending I sent so many voting things for me to people on Facebook. Yeah. And the winner would get $10,000.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm not gonna lie. Once I passed it to my dad, because my dad, Mr. Smooth, I knew his followers were just all gonna they was
right.
And so I was like, I already thought I had it in the bag. Look, I walked out there with this on.
Yes.
And when they called all of us on the court, I literally thought I won. Like it was already, I had already spent 500 of it. I was buying this TV and everything. I already knew. Let's buy. I got this TV. I'm about to buy it. Let's go. And when they called the other guy's name, I felt so bad for 2 reasons. One, I had already counted it like I was too cocky. In that space. I wasn't humble. I mean, I thought I was humble, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I already got this. Right. This is the bag. And so, but the other thing was, I wanted to win it for my dad. He was at the game. This was that moment where I was like my dad has came to bowling tournaments with me when I was 10 years old, and I came in second place, and it was always second place. And I was like, so I felt really bad that I didn't win it. And I was like, dang, like the 10,000, of course, would have been good, but I really wanted to win this for my dad, man. Like, and my dad took us all to TGI Friday, and it was like, he told me, he's like, you know what? When one door closes, another one opens. Yes. Watch what's gonna happen, man. I ain't tripping, man. You still my son, man. You still sweet. I ain't. Even if it was rigged, I don't care. Like, you still sweet. I don't think it was rigged, but I just think that I thought that I had the bag and I didn't. Right. A month after that, I got the letter from Learn Fresh.
Wow. Okay.
They offered me a letter, and I'm not gonna say the numbers, but it wasn't no $10,000.
Hey, I love this.
And so it's like, do you want the little bag or do you want the life change?
Ooh, you got to come on and secure the whole life change bag.
I had 10,000. That ain't even a teacher's salary.
Yeah, right.
And I ain't trying to knock 10,000.
Right.
But
you preaching too, by the way.
Hey,
you out here.
They teaching and preaching. It's all in the same.
This is good. You're right.
Behind it.
Right. This is
so good. When I saw that letter in the email, I was just like, my life is about to change.
Wow, Calvin.
And I told my dad, and I was like, you were serious, man. I'm getting ready to work for Learn Fresh, man. I feel like I'm Kobe Bryant, and I just got drafted to the Lakers.
Beautiful.
But instead of getting drafted to the Lakers, I got drafted to the NBA. I don't just work with one team. A lot of times I go to schools and I share my story. My story is actually, and please, if you want me to come to your school and talk to your students, my story is how you can make it to the NBA without a jump shot.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Miss Hildred, you still there? I love that.
Yep. So I'm super thankful that, you know, I put in, but I followed this script, y'all. Remember, I did this. I didn't really want to. I did this. I didn't really want to. I did this. I really wanted to. Like some things, but you know, there's sometimes when you have a blueprint and you see that there's something someone's giving you and they got love for you, I would just do it. What's the worst that could happen?
That's right. That's good. That's a good word, man. That is great. Woo, you out here. I'm over here taking it in. This is so exciting for me for so many reasons. Okay. So thank you for that. So you have the digital platform. What else are we working on? What's right now before we
right now, every week I'm doing virtual tournaments with each team that we're connected with. And we're connected with 25 NBA and WNBA teams. So every week, you know, I'm reffing the games. I'm throwing on the gear of each team.
Nice.
I'm watching the mascots come in. Okay. I'm watching the cheerleaders join the call. I'm watching NBA players join the call.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so, right now, so these regional tournaments are going on, and whichever team wins the regional tournament, not only the team that wins, but the runner-up will be a part of the national championship, which will be this summer.
Nice.
And I do have to say, you said, are we just in the United States? No, we got some Australian teams that are going to be a part of this one.
Come on. Yes, you better go ahead. Come on here.
I know.
I love this. I love it.
Shout out to Australia. They that's where Coogee was made.
Yeah, right.
I got to get out to Australia. I don't know if they still making the Coogee, but you know, Coogee was always one of my favorite brands.
I remember you rocking Coogees back in the day. I do remember.
Coogee was my thing.
Yep. That's wild. Okay. Yep. So we got that. We've got the podcast. How often is the podcast running? Is that going on?
So we just finished our first season of the Learn Fresh podcast.
Perfect.
Me and Nick, the CEO of the company, we pretty much are bringing in teachers, talking about the pandemic and the online learning. We're bringing in NBA players. We're bringing in general managers. We're trying to find every space that can help everyone learn about how to just make things better. In this time. And so right now we're on the third we're done with this first season, but we're actually on the third episode now, and you can find it at the Learn Fresh podcast on Apple or Spotify.
Okay, I'll post that in a bit. Awesome. Ooh.
And just to say, my dad doesn't have either one. I got to mess with my dad right quick. You don't have Apple Music or Spotify, but you can Google Learn Fresh podcast.
Yes,
you can actually watch it like that.
Okay.
Through that way. So you don't actually have to download. You don't have to be a part of Apple Music for those that may not have that or feel comfortable doing that.
Okay. Perfect. So what's going to happen pretty much, like after the show tomorrow, I'm going to post several things to the Narrative Shifts page. I might do a little blurb also on this page, just so that we can just have a place where we can find all this stuff. This is amazing. I love this what Dana just mentioned. She said, "This is a beautiful story. You have so many powerful messages, and I appreciate this interview." Thank you so much, Dana. And
thank you, Dana.
Calvin, you are like killing it.
Dana, you always been special to me too, and you know that I learned a lot from you. You were my lead teacher, and I learned so much from you that the 2 years later I ended up being a lead teacher, and I used a lot of the things that you taught me. And you know, I'm already laid back and kind of cool. So and we actually both Virgos. I think our birthday maybe the day after or something. So we cut from the same cloth when it comes down to that too.
There you go. That is wonderful. Thank you so much. Obviously we can kick it for like so much more time. This is great. This has been wonderful. And I appreciate you just joining us and just, you know, being so authentic and transparent in what you've communicated. A lot of times, you know, when folks watch shows or just whoever they're watching, they don't always realize the back end, you know. Obviously everyone sees the right here, you know, the success or what's in front of them. And they don't always understand what it took to get there, right? This coming in second, like that was hitting me like a ton of bricks every time you said it. And a lot of people I know, you know, feel like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to give up because I'm not getting first, you know. And there's, like you said, sometimes you got to own second. I think you said that, you know, you have to own it at times, you know.
There was a song that came out that kind of, remember, Nelly, I am number one.
I don't know.
Like three is not the winner, and 2 nobody remembers. I am number one.
Yeah,
it kind of makes you think like if you don't win, you ain't nothing. But that's not it. Sometimes I would rather. Sometimes when y'all watch that story, I was actually, if I would have known that story before, I wouldn't have wanted to be the one to win that game.
I got you. Yeah.
Sometimes the other person needs to win. And then shout out to my wife. She always says, "You make losing so good, look so good."
I love that.
That's probably just her saying that, but she's like, "Nah, you ain't supposed to win a lot, man. You're supposed to make it look cool on how you lose and be cool about it."
I love
that. What our program is about. You know, whether you win or lose by points, you still show good sportsmanship. You still fist pop your opponent. You still show love, because we don't want nobody feeling bad because they lost the game.
That's right.
That ain't cool.
That's right. Man, this is good stuff. I'm so excited right now. Okay, your IG handle, I know I have it. Go ahead and give it to me.
Game Changer _ of education.
All right.
And shout out to my homeboy Lawrence, Low 14, one of the best videographers and photographers in the game.
Yeah.
When I was coming up with my handle, I was like, you know what? I'm a game changer. And he said, but you're gonna have to put something else on that because there's already too many game changers. And he was like, you know what you should be? The game changer of education.
I love that.
And he told me how to put the underscore because he was more in the social media space. You know, he knew how to do that. So that's how that ended up being.
Yep, did I get it right? It's right there, right? Yep.
The game changer _ of education.
Okay, guys, follow this brother right here. Okay, Lavita is also saying shout out to Dana. She said this is a great interview. Kids and their education. That's what's up. Absolutely great story. Calvin, from Wendy. I don't know if you remember Wendy Mitchell from high school. These are throwbacks. I mean,
we're throwing throwbacks over here. We're gonna have to pop on again and try to, I don't know, have everybody on here.
I know, right? That would be crazy. Let's just have like go crazy on here with like some people from high school.
And then the Math Hoops Instagram is just NBA Math Hoops. So you can plug in the NBA Math Hoops Instagram, and hey, you'll be able to see everything going on.
Guys, check them out. I'm just, posting it right now so everybody can see it. Here we go. Let's see. All right. So everybody, there you go. This is Calvin Sibert, the game changer of education. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks for having just a moment, taking a moment, to do this. I know you are incredibly busy. You have a very full schedule. And so I really appreciate this time tonight. Shout out to Romulus, because that's what we do. Around town for life. That's what we do.
For life.
Absolutely.
/ Detroit.
/ Easter Junior. All the things. All right. I love y'all. Thanks for joining the show. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. There was a lot of engagement tonight. I appreciate that. I'm sure I missed some comments, and I'm sorry if that's the case. I was only seeing 2 of them. Thank you, Miss Ramsey. So we got Sharon Ramsey from Wayne Risa jumped in here. And so love that. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. So there's that. We're going to wrap it up. Stay on for just a couple more minutes, Calvin. And everybody, again, next week, we should be back here at 7:00 live. That's what we do on Mondays. Every so often I take a break, but next week we are scheduled for another wonderful show. So join us then. We'll see you later. All right. Take it easy.
Take care.